So yes, yesterday while I was on live, I said they are probably going to ban trans athletes, but they are not going to give him the birthright citizenship. I said they're not going to let that lie on them. What we also saw yesterday was this man meet with Mike Johnson. And I think it was because Mike was trying to tell him, I don't want this to fall back on Congress. And let me show you these two clips real quick.
That decision is children born in the United States, parents unlawfully or temporarily present, are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and are citizens at birth under the 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause. What's your reaction to that, Mr. Speaker?
Well,
This is real fun.
I need to read the opinion, okay?
So that face right there of him finding out, that deep breath, is because he knows he's going to have to accomplish it for Dumpy Pants. He's going to have to somehow make this happen for patient 4547 / Renner Center. Okay? And that's exactly what he didn't want to happen. But it's interesting because then he said this.
And so I'm sure that we'll continue to look at that. I mean, I'm sure the conclusion from this opinion is going to be that you got to amend the Constitution to fix that. As we all know, it's a big challenge to amend the Constitution. It's only happened 27 times in our whole nation's history, and the reason is because you got to have 2/3 of both chambers of Congress and 3/4 of the states to ratify. It's usually at least a many years long process and very complicated. We'll see. I'm sure there's going to be lots of discussion about that. I will say I'm very disappointed in that outcome.
And that was right after he said, well, I'm going to have to read the opinion. And then said, well, obviously it's going to have to be left up to Congress to change amendments and blah, blah, blah. Because this was a conversation that was already had. That's why patient 4547 posted this right before the decision was let out. Because he already knew. And so the SC said, we don't want it to be on us. You knew the ones that were paid off and corrupt because that was very, very obvious from their visit to Capitol Hill yesterday and then the decision today with the dissent information to have it run through Congress specifically. And then Little Johnson says, I'm going to have to read what they said, and then immediately went into, I guess Congress going to have to do it. So that's what the fuck that was all about. The next thing I want to bring up is another one of my predictions from last year. And I said, Miss Maxie gonna find her way to get out of this. And if they can't do it through the SC, which they wouldn't hear the case, then they was gonna try to find another way because she's got some kill switches. Now they already did where they can send prisoners to wherever they want to send them, don't need a reason, don't need a requirement. Todd Blanche can do whatever the fuck he want to do. But then I saw this today. Guess who has access to that much money to buy a pardon from her cushy prison? They're setting it up. They're setting it up to say, well, anyone was eligible to pay for it and get out. This is to help anybody else that's been in recent trouble either, who might need a pardon. The billionaire techs are showing their cards, guys. They're showing their cards. But I most definitely think she's going to try to buy one of those 250th anniversary pardons. What do y'all think? Anyway, not to say I told you so, but